Right now, new data from the CDC telling us more about how kids get infected with the coronavirus and what kind of symptoms they might show.
Plus, the 2020 Democratic Convention begins today, both online and in Milwaukee. What precautions they have in place for in-person events.
And we have a few sprinkles right now across southern Wisconsin, especially here in Madison. Overall, though, the forecast looks dry this week. All the details coming up.
This is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. It is Monday, August 17th. I'm Josh Breiter.
And I'm Leah Lynchide. Chris Stanford has the day off. Wisconsin is reporting its highest percentage of positive tests in more than 2 weeks. That's 11.2%. According to combined DHS and county data, there are now 655 new cases in the last 24 hours. 2 more people have died, bringing the state's total to 1,044. About 8,700 of the state's total 65,000 cases remain active.
The science of COVID-19 is constantly evolving, which makes it even harder for researchers to know just exactly how it impacts children. Health experts generally believe kids under 10 years old are less susceptible to the virus than teens or adults, but there's evidence they can still catch it and can die from it. Kids account for about 339,000 cases in the U.S., which is just under 9% of all cases here. However, new guidance from the CDC says they are seeing a steady increase in rate of children becoming infected with the virus. Recent evidence also suggests children carry a higher viral load of the virus in their sinus systems compared to adults. The CDC says one reason we may be seeing fewer cases in children is because of early measures to close schools back in the spring and stay-at-home orders. But that could change in the coming weeks with schools and in-person classes resuming.
According to the Mayo Clinic, children and adults do experience similar symptoms when infected with COVID-19, but kids' symptoms tend to be more mild and flu-like. The most common symptoms for kids include fever, nasal congestion or runny nose, cough, sore throat, and shortness of breath. Most children recover within 1 to 2 weeks. Now, we are continuing our back-to-school coverage, making sure your family is ready for whatever fall looks like.
Yeah, we asked you what questions you might have for your doctor before you send your kids. Dr. Jeff Pata from UW Health is with us this morning to answer some of our questions. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Dr. Potoff, can you hear us?
I did hear that, but I didn't hear what you just said before that.
Oh, thank you. Well, first off, thank you so much for joining us. We'll get right into the questions this morning. First, what do we know about how COVID affects kids? It may not be fatal, but are there long-term health concerns?
We know that COVID certainly affects kids. Now, we're still learning more about exactly how it affects kids. It certainly looks like kids get infected. As a percent of the population, they seem to get infected a little bit less than adults. They make up about 22% of the population, but like you mentioned, only about 8% of our COVID cases. They tend to be less likely severe, but if they are severe, they have about the same hospitalization rate as adults, but they do better in the hospitals. They're less likely to need an ICU, and they're much less likely to die. So it's not that children are immune from COVID-19. They certainly get it. They do seem to fare a little bit better than adults in most of the studies that we're looking at.
So, as we mentioned, we're taking questions from our viewers who might be concerned about going back to school this year. Lisa had sent one in asking, what are your recommendations for children to safely return to school? How should things like FIED, music, or lunch be handled?
Yeah, I think the school questions is really difficult, and each parent's going to have to make a decision. The things I would look for when looking at schools is, one, what's their plan for physical distancing? That's the thing that's the most challenging for schools, and that's something as a parent that I would want to understand for my child is how are they going to keep kids distanced? The other thing I'd look at is, masking protocols. How is that going to work? And then look at those recess, those lunch times. Make sure, especially at lunch when masks aren't required, you're really going to have to lean hard into physical distancing to make sure that those kids aren't getting close and are less likely to infect other children.
Another question from Albert this morning. If one student or the teacher in a class tests positive, will the whole class have to quarantine at home?
I think it'll depend a little bit on when they do the contact tracing to figure out how close was that positive student or positive teacher to other individuals, students, and teachers. It's possible that they'll need to quarantine at home for 10 to 14 days, wait for symptoms. It's also possible that they'll need to get tested in a few days, see if that test result's positive or negative. If negative, they maybe return a little bit sooner if they're able to get testing.
And Melody wanted to know, is it safe to go back to school as we see these numbers continue to rise? We've been reporting the 2-week trend right now. It's going up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the greater the community spread, the more risk there is in going to school. I think the risk in going to school really needs to be assessed at the individual school level. There's some schools where it would be too risky. They don't have the ability to physically distance. They can't put in place the mitigation efforts that we need. But there's other schools that maybe they're smaller or they have more space where they can abide by public health recommendations and still hold either a hybrid learning situation where some of the kids are in school on one day and others on another day, and make a go of it, which would be safe to try to do. So I really think you have to look at what your school's doing, and are they able to keep your kids safe, or do they need to cut enough corners where that's no longer a viable solution?
All right, as you can imagine, lots of people have questions before the start of school. We're going to be talking with Dr. Pothoff again coming up around 6:45. If you have any questions, viewers, send them our way via Facebook. Dr. Pothoff, thank you so much. We'll check back in with you in about 45 minutes.
Sounds great.
All right, well, getting a nasal swab to test for COVID-19 makes you cringe. There's some good news for you this morning. A new test could use your saliva instead. The FDA has granted emergency authorization for the Saliva Direct test over the weekend. Researchers from the Yale School of Public Health developed it. It appears to be fairly accurate, cheap, and fast. The test development was funded by the NBA to be used by players in the league's bubble.
6:06, your time now. Miss Hattie McLean keeping an eye on our first warn weather for our Monday. How's it going, Hattie?
Good morning, Lee and Josh. Well, not bad this morning. We're talking a little bit about rain, and if you've noticed, August has been a dry month so far. Just over an inch of rain here in Madison. Normally, by this time in the month, we've had over 2 inches of rain, so we are a little bit down from what we would typically see in the month of August. We are noting a little bit of rain on the radar map. Right here in Madison, some light showers and sprinkles moving through. They're moving through rather quickly and are pretty light. No severe weather is anticipated this morning with just these light showers. The forecast looking pretty quiet as we zoom the map out across the upper Midwest. No rain to talk about. Here's a look at those drought conditions. You may be noticing your yard drying out. Some of the crops starting to dry out as well. Drought conditions here across southern Wisconsin noted in west central Wisconsin, although some of those areas may start to increase in coverage as we go through the next couple of weeks with a relatively dry weather pattern in place. Take a look at the CPC 6 to 10 day outlook, and it's indicating below normal precipitation as we head towards the end of August. So these trends are expected to continue. Here's a look at weather track. Those showers this morning in response to a cold front that is now exiting the southeastern corner of the state. Just a little bit of moisture lingering back behind that front. Overall, though, high pressure is going to dominate our weather for the next couple of days. That'll give us a lot of sunshine and pretty quiet conditions. Now, we start this morning in the 60s in most spots. North and east of Madison, 59 in the Dells, 58 in Watertown. Everybody else at least starting in the 60s this morning. Your future track forecast model shows you a pretty quiet day ahead. Temperatures look back into the mid-70s by lunchtime with partly sunny skies. We're headed to a high of 80 later on this afternoon. Pretty quiet as well as we head through the evening hours. Take a look at that extended forecast. We have low 80s through the most of the week with dry conditions. Our next best chance for rain holding off until Friday.
Boy, quite a stretch of nice summer weather, though, has.
Certainly is, for August especially.
Lots of people going to be thanking you for that. All right, 6:08 now. We are just a few hours away from the start of the 2020 DNC in Milwaukee. Some events will be taking place in person at the Wisconsin Center, but most of the convention will be held virtually. The stage on the building's second floor will have live speakers every night from Wisconsin's top Democratic leaders. But former Vice President Joe Biden will not be accepting his nomination there. Instead, he'll accept from his home in Delaware. Convention staff say though much of the convention is online, they still wanted to maintain a strong presence in Milwaukee.
We made a commitment to the city of Milwaukee, and it was really important for us to stay here.
Right now, several safety measures are being taken inside the Wisconsin Center for those in-person events. And to run the show, the control room at the center is complete with monitors and dozens of DNC staff members. They're spread more than 6 feet apart, ready to take in live feeds from across the country. The DNC is also requiring all staff and members of the media to take a daily COVID-19 test and temperature check before going inside. They also have to answer a series of questions every day, such as whether they have virus symptoms and to pledge not to go to bars and restaurants. News 3 Now political reporter Amy Reed will be at the convention this week. She'll bring us more complete coverage of the 4 days of the DNC starting tonight in our later newscasts.
As the DNC kicks off today, President Trump also making a presence in the Badger State. He's expected to speak at the airport in Oshkosh after a quick stop in Minnesota as well. His campaign says the president will highlight what it calls, quote, Joe Biden's failures on jobs and the economy. The president will stop in Mankato, Minnesota at 2, then fly to Oshkosh around 4:30. His son Eric is scheduled to visit Milwaukee on Tuesday.
White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows is insisting President Trump is not using the Postal Service to influence the November election. Meadows made the comments on CNN saying the president is not against additional funding for the Postal Service if Democrats come to a deal on a coronavirus aid package. In the meantime, the House Oversight Committee is calling on the Postmaster General to testify in an emergency hearing, and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is proposing the Delivering for America Act. That would ban the Postal Service from implementing operational changes which weren't in place at the start of the year.
The Postal Service is planning for a temporary price increase. They say it's in response to high demand for online items. Package shipments will see a rate increase anywhere from 24 cents to as much as $1.50. USPS filed the notice with the Postal Regulatory Commission. It'll go into effect from October 18th to December 27th of this year. 6:11 on your Monday, and coming up, another person is shot in Madison overnight amid calls from the community for more action to stem the flow of gun violence in the city. What they say you can do to help.
And season ticket holders are opting out of the year, but the Packers say there's still a chance for fans to see a game at Lambeau this season. We'll tell you when, coming up on News 3 Now this morning.
With Herzing University's Everywhere Classroom, you can earn a degree in today's hottest fields online. For a limited time, we'll waive your enrollment fee. See what your career can turn into.
I'm possible at Herzing.
Call or click today.
You were always the responsible one. So much like me. Always taking care of everyone else. But this wasn't your responsibility. I already took care of the arrangements. The Ryans made it so easy. I didn't want you to worry about a thing. It's my last gift to you, my lovely daughter.
Whatever your water worry, Culligan Water can help. With over 40 filtration systems, including the world's best softener, no one filters more than Culligan Water. The only water that comes with a van. Contact Culligan, the local water experts.
Joe Biden says,
if you elect me, your taxes are going to be raised, not cut.
That means middle-class families, small businesses, and seniors pay higher taxes. It's the biggest tax increase in history.
Citizenship for 11 million undocumented folks.
That means 11 million illegal immigrants competing for American jobs, eligible for free health care, Social Security, and Medicare. America can't afford Joe Biden.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
A1 Furniture and Mattress on Stoughton Road is now open, featuring affordable in-stock name brands for every room, with a huge selection that's hard to beat. That's why we're A1, locally owned and operated since 1980.
Great decision on your new windows. Buy one, get one won't last long.
Have you always been so passionate about windows?
Felco's buy one, get one free windows is totally rad. Felco's energy efficient windows are a must in every home. So hurry, call now.
You could say that.
Buy one window, get one free, and get no interest for 1 year.
Buy one, get one free, and soon. Call now.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Feldco.
To the thousands of Herzing University nursing and healthcare alumni, for your tireless commitment, and to all of your brave colleagues across America, we say thank you.
I'm possible at Herzing.
Breaking overnight, one person is in the hospital this morning after a shooting on Madison's north side. It happened just before 11 last night on Karaoke Lane near Warner Park. The victim, a 36-year-old man, was found a few blocks away on a doorstep on Sheridan Street asking for help. His injury is not considered to be life-threatening. Police are still investigating. We're told no arrests have been made yet.
The Madison community continues to honor 11-year-old Anissa Scott, who was shot and killed last Tuesday. A silent march was held yesterday on the city's south side to address the rise in gun violence in Madison. 2020 has seen the city's second most homicides ever. Felicia Anderson of the DSS Community Center helped organize the event. She's hopeful the community can come together, not just to grieve, but to pair with leaders and come up with a way to provide better options for kids.
If we can touch one family that can touch one young person to put down the guns, then we've accomplished the goal. But we have to start somewhere. And if we have to start with one family, then that's what we'll do.
Organizers of the event say investing in groups like the DSS Community Center is a great way to help. Organizations like that are trying to provide programming for young children in our area.
New overnight, Madison police are investigating a burglary at the Target on Junction Road. It happened around 11:15. Police say some employees were still in the store closing up when they saw a man enter the store. The suspect did not see the employees and left before police arrived. Police say the suspect did take some things before he left, and they're still looking for him this morning. If you have any information, you're asked to call MPD or Madison Area Crime Stoppers.
6:16, Miss Hattie McLean out on the patio. Oh, and she's got the umbrella out at this hour.
Yeah, just a few sprinkles coming down here, enough to warrant the umbrella right now. They're not going to last very long, but let's take a look at the radar map, and you can see that one shower is right over Madison right now. We have some rain on the east side of town and here on the southwest side of Madison. The rain coming to an end in the Middleton area. We'll take a wider view and show you what else is happening across the region. These showers are pretty isolated right now, and they are moving off to the southeast pretty quickly. So we're not even going to see any measurable rain likely here across most of the area. Take a look at our temperatures. It's 61 in Madison and Lone Rock this morning. In the Dells is 58, 64 right now in Monroe. Our forecast as you head out the door, again, you may want an umbrella right now, but really you're not going to need it much. Just a few sprinkles early, and then we'll look for dry weather for the afternoon with temperatures warming pretty quickly through the 60s and 70s to a high of 80 degrees later on this afternoon. Coming up, let's take a closer look at that high temperature trend. You can see that the numbers stay pretty close to the normals for this time of the year, with highs in the upper 70s and low 80s. So sometimes you think of August as the dog days of summer, but the next couple of weeks look very pleasant.
Yeah, we've decided this is quite the kayak forecast, right?
It certainly is, yes.
Big fan. Thank you very much, Hattie. 6:17 now. Schools and organizations are facing some tough decisions when it comes to whether it's safe to play sports this fall. Collegiate sports top doctor says when it comes to playing this semester, it's hard to find the best option.
We're moving into a very troubled waters right now. It's a very narrow path to get fall sports right.
According to the CDC, there are still ways to play sports safely. If you're sick, stay home. Wash your hands frequently before, during, and after practices and games. Wear a mask if possible, and bring your own equipment.
This morning, the CDC also has a list for the lowest to highest risk activities for student athletes. They say the best option is, of course, anything that can be played by yourself or with limited teammates. The more high-risk sports are those involving large teams and travel. 32 games in Major League Baseball have now postponed because of the coronavirus. The Cincinnati Reds are the latest team to have their games put on hold because of a positive test. The Reds canceled 2 games over the weekend and are delaying a doubleheader scheduled for today against the Pirates. So far, only one Reds player has tested positive, but the league is testing the whole team and staff to make sure no one else was exposed. Two other teams, the Miami Marlins and the St. Louis Cardinals, have both had large outbreaks on their teams, but they're both back out on the field.
The Packers won't have fans at Lambeau Field for at least their first 2 home games this season, but they may not have that many after that either. More than 80% of Packers fans have opted out of season tickets for the 2020 campaign. That's according to Packers president and CEO Mark Murphy. In an interview posted on the team's website, Murphy says a recent survey sent to ticket holders shows most fans are not comfortable with returning to the stadium during the pandemic.
It's a tough decision because, obviously here in Green Bay, we know how much our home games mean to the local economy and to the local community. But, at the end of the day, in my mind, the most important thing was protecting the health and safety of our community and our fans.
The first game the Packers might have fans at Lambeau this season, November 1st against the Vikings. Team officials say that's still up in the air right now.
Sports are pretty much back, but you may have to wait a while longer for concerts. One of the founders of the Chicago-based music festival, Lollapalooza, says live shows likely won't happen until 2022. He doesn't think, quote, super spreader events like music festivals have a place during the pandemic. According to Insider, Lollapalooza is planning to host a live festival in 2021.
2022, a long ways away.
I know, it really is. Hopefully it'll be here soon. Well, still ahead, while there are some doubts about having concerts for a while, a group in England thinks they figured out a way to allow people to enjoy live music from a safe distance.
We'll show you that. Plus, the Democratic National Convention starts in just a couple hours, but the move to hold the event mostly online is hitting all of Wisconsin's economy. We'll take a look at how much businesses we're expecting to make with the DNC in Milwaukee. That's coming up in our next half hour.
At Pick and Save, we give you more ways to save on the fresh you love, like the Pick and Save app. It combines personalized coupons, fuel points, and weekly sales for the best deals. From meat to fruits and veggies to milk to whatever is in that. We've always given you more ways to save, and now those savings are even better than ever. Pick and Save, fresh for everyone.
This is the big one, folks. The Brothers Maine Everything's on Sale sale. Right now, you'll get everything from Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, and Amana with blowout savings, like a Maytag washer for $3.99 and a Maytag dryer for just $3.99. And you'll always get more from the More store, like our risk-free 30-day price satisfaction guarantee. The Everything's on Sale sale, with more selection, more savings, and more satisfaction on everything. Now at the Brothers Maine, your local store for more since 1938.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Just like you, I had problems sleeping. I tried every pillow out there and nothing worked. 15 years ago, I invented MyPillow. It took me 2 years to develop because I wanted to have everything you would ever want in a pillow. I made sure that you could adjust my patented fill so you could have the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of your sleep position. I also wanted a pillow that would last, so I made MyPillow machine washable and dryable. I back MyPillow with a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. Not only that, I do all my own manufacturing in my home state of Minnesota.
I really like the fact that it was made in the USA. I think that USA products are a better quality product. I've tried a lot of other pillows and nothing's worked like MyPillow.
I'm interrupting this commercial right now to give you deep discounts, not just on my pillows, but also my mattress toppers, sheets, and so much more. For example, you can get body pillows regular $89.99, now only $29.99, or MyPillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
I used to think that sheets were just sheets. I got the Giza Dream sheets. They are the most comfortable sheets I've ever had.
The Go Anywhere pillow is so easy to just roll up and take anywhere I want to go.
Go Anywhere pillow is really comfortable, so that's what I really like. It's nice and supportive and it's nice and small.
The MyPillow topper, for the first time, has enabled me to have a cool night's sleep. I'm able to go to bed and just get rest.
That's 3 inches of wonderful that's in the MyPillow mattress topper. It's just like a firm cloud.
MyPillow helps me get a good night's sleep so I can do my job in the morning.
Go to MyPillow.com to get deep discounts, not just on my pillows, but so much more. For example, you get body pillows regular $89.99, now only $29.99, or MyPillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
we always ask you to share your morning with us, and Kevin sent in this stunner of an eagle. This always reminds me of Levi. Our family likes to look for eagles in his honor and his memory, and Kevin is constantly taking just beautiful nature shots, so I was happy to see this one today.
This one gives me goosebumps. I got a little shiver up my spine. It's just so beautiful, and Kevin always gets up close and personal with them too, and I think it's so neat to see how awesome nature is, and especially, I mean, this shot right here couldn't be any better.
In action. Kevin, thanks so much for sending that in. What does your morning look like? Take a picture, use the hashtag MyNews3Morning, send it on our way, maybe post it on Facebook, Instagram, and we'll be sure to share it this time of morning every morning. Okay, so if you're missing out on all of the concerts canceled by the pandemic, there may be some hope they can happen with social distancing.
Yeah, one venue thinks they found a safe way to put on a live show with an audience in attendance. Look at this. Live music fans flocked to the UK's first socially distant concert last week at a newly custom-built venue in Newcastle. Groups of concertgoers were seated in one of 500 individual viewing areas at the outdoor arena, which organizers described as the country's first dedicated, socially distanced music venue. Visitors were given set times to arrive at the venue by car before being guided to their personal platform to enjoy the show.
I think this is a great idea. I love how spaced out it is. I think I would feel safe doing that.
I would totally do this, and I think this just looks at what we've done already locally here with many restaurants and other businesses. They have the table spread out. There's enough room. There's enough space for you to just kind of breathe and not feel like other people are literally breathing down your neck. And this is a way to enjoy it. You always go usually with your family or close friends anyways that you've probably been quarantined with. So why not?
Okay, so I said earlier, Kenny Chesney, hope he's paying attention. That's the concert I'd go to. You'd go to Justin Bieber.
Justin Bieber. Well, I'd plan to go see Justin Bieber at Summerfest this past summer.
Yeah, and that didn't happen.
And that didn't happen, although he is set to come back for Summerfest next year, so we'll see.
Hattie, what would be the concert you'd go see right now?
I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm quite ready to go to a concert just yet.
Fair. That's fair.
But that goes to show we're all in different places, right? Some people are comfortable, some people aren't, so.
That's very true.
You do you.
Your weather forecast today, you can see a little bit of that rain on the east side of Madison from our sky camera shot.
Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Dear Penny, heads we stay local, tails we hit the road. With a new Toyota, you'll always land a winner. Your friends, Toyota.
Get 1.9% financing for 60 months on a new 2020 RAV4 or RAV4 Hybrid. Toyota.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Who am I?
Wow, is that really me?
They are some of the hottest videos on social media. Those videos claiming to instantly get rid of bags under your eyes. So celebrate this Labor Day knowing you look your best with Plexiderm. Lifestyle expert Annette Figueroa is here to tell us why she says this one is for real.
This one is for real, and I'm so excited. We even have a video that the viewers can watch while you and I talk. And you'll notice the model has bags underneath his eyes and some sagging, and all he uses is a small amount, and that's how easy it is.
All right, what's the active ingredient?
Okay, so it's silicates that are minerals found in shale rock. And what it does is it tightens and lifts the appearance of bags underneath your eyes in as little as 10 minutes, no prescriptions, and very little effort. And I did this to my father. We were at home and we were screaming. 4 minutes, 34 seconds, completely gone.
My real true opinion is holy words I can't say on camera. These lines bother me. They really do. And this is absolutely unbelievable. I mean, I could feel it just lifting my skin. It feels great. Looks even better.
I'm Neela. I'm 61 years old. I'm a professional personal trainer. It's so important to be in good health and to be fit and take care of yourself. How it makes you feel inside is amazing. Plexiderm, seriously, it fixes all that. It makes you feel as good outside as you do inside. Honest to God, it's amazing. There's nothing there, like the bags are gone.
And not only does it work on the bags, it works on the appearance of crow's feet, fine lines, and wrinkles. So it targets all those problem areas.
So this would be a daily thing or just when you want to like get rid of the bags?
Yeah, it absolutely could be a daily thing. You have high school reunions, you have events you want to go to, you want to look years younger, this is it.
And this Labor Day is the best time to try Plexiderm for $14.95. See it work for yourself after your first application. Just visit plexidermtrial.com or call the number on your screen.
Have you heard? Tempur-Pedic sleep is better sleep. With innovative memory foam developed by NASA, Tempur-Pedic mattresses reduce motion transfer, which means Less tossing and turning so you can sleep undisturbed through the night. But which Tempur-Pedic is right for you? Come to Denver Mattress and test for yourself. Let our expert sales staff guide you to your perfect Tempur-Pedic. And rest easy knowing it's backed by our 365-night better sleep guarantee. Shop Denver Mattress today, your Tempur-Pedic elite retailer.
Dear Penny, heads we stay local, tails we hit the road. With a new Toyota, you'll always land a winner. Your friends, Toyota.
Get $1,500 customer cash on a new 2020 Highlander or Highlander Hybrid. Toyota.
Right now, it is day one of the Democratic National Convention, looking a lot different than what Wisconsin had hoped for. Who you'll hear speak today and what the state of the race is this morning.
I'm watching a few light showers on the radar map this morning. Will they linger all day? All of the answer coming up.
This is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on this Monday, August 17th. I'm Josh Spreiter.
And I'm Leah Lynchot. Chris Stanford has the day off. Glad to see you. How was your weekend?
It was good. It went so fast. We went to Devil's Lake hiking yesterday. I thought of you.
Pretty busy, wasn't it?
It was very busy. We weren't there for very long. It was like everyone and their cousin was there yesterday. But
they say they have to shut down parking by 11 in the morning every weekend day because it gets so busy.
Yeah, I had to fill in yesterday on the Sunday morning show, and then we headed up there right after that. And I thought we were going to be early enough, but we weren't. And by the time we left, the parking lot was full, and they weren't letting people in. They had it kind of blocked off. So.
Okay, so here's the hot take. You want to go to Devil's Lake? Go during the week, and Hattie has the perfect forecast for that this week.
It really is. Yeah, we'll get to our forecast coming up here in just a little bit.
First this morning, the Democratic National Convention kicks off today. Let's take a live look at the city of Milwaukee right now, where despite the move to mostly online, the DNC will hold some events in person. First up, a breakfast at 8:30, where Governor Evers, Senator Tammy Baldwin, and U.S. Representative Gwen Moore will welcome delegates and speakers. We'll have a link to that up on channel3000.com if you'd like to tune in.
With almost all speakers and delegates attending virtually, it's going to look a lot different than past conventions. The convention would have brought around 50,000 visitors to Milwaukee with an anticipated economic boost of about $200 million. But the impact isn't just hitting Milwaukee. Hotels as far as Green Bay and Chicago had been booked up as overflow.
Even though most delegates and speakers won't be attending in person, we will still hear from many of them virtually. Here's a list of who's expected to speak today. Former First Lady Michelle Obama, Senators Bernie Sanders and Amy Klobuchar, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, Ohio's Republican Governor John Kasich, and U.S. Representatives Jim Clyburn and Benny Thompson. Wisconsin U.S. Representative Gwen Moore will also have a speaking slot.
The convention will mark the official start of the Joe Biden-Kamala Harris campaign, and a new CNN poll shows the presidential race is anyone's to take. With a 4-point margin of error, 50% of registered voters back the Biden-Harris ticket, while 46% say they support Trump and Mike Pence. Now keep in mind, this is a nationwide survey. In Wisconsin, it looks a little different with a 3.9% margin of error. Joe Biden is favored by 49% of Wisconsin voters, while Trump is favored by 44%. For the first time in history, the U.S. House of Representatives will be in session during the DNC. The House has never been in session during either party's conventions. Lawmakers will be in Washington to discuss recent changes to the U.S. Postal Service. The House could vote as early as Saturday on a proposal to block the Trump administration's plan to overhaul the service. This is weeks earlier than Democrats plan to return to D.C.
Some states are considering legal action against the Trump administration because of those USPS changes and how they would impact mail-in voting. At least half a dozen states are reviewing their legal options. Wisconsin not currently one of them. This comes after recent warnings from the USPS to 46 states, including Wisconsin, that say voters could be at risk of not getting their ballots back to election offices in time to be counted. In some states, voters can request ballots as late as a week before the election. But as we've been reporting, even if ballots are sent first class, they would still take 2 to 5 days to be delivered.
We have an update to a story we first told you about last week. The Postal Service says it will stop removing collection boxes until after the election. The USPS faced criticism for removing the collection boxes because there's expected to be a surge in mail-in absentee ballots. The spokesperson for USPS says the service annually reviews how much the boxes are used and will remove ones that aren't used as much. White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows also says the Postal Service won't get rid of any more of the 671 sorting machines until after Election Day. That removal process for those machines had been happening since June.
If you don't want to rely on the Postal Service to return your absentee ballot, there are other options for you. The USPS is the only way to get an absentee ballot in most states, but here in Wisconsin, you can hand deliver your ballot in person to your local election office. Your city could also set up ballot drop boxes where you can securely leave your ballot without coming into contact with another person. Keep in mind, your ballot needs to be back at your clerk's office no later than 8 p.m. on Election Day. That's November 3rd.
6:34 right now. Hattie's here with your first warn weather forecast. Hattie, good morning to you.
Good morning, Josh and Leah. Well, we're starting out with just a few showers this morning. One of those showers moving through the Madison area. They're early today. Overall, though, when we look at the week forecast, it's looking pretty quiet. High temperatures will be right around 80 degrees, and most of the week is going to be dry. Our next rain chance holds off really until later in the day on Friday. But speaking of rain, there have been a few showers popping up across parts of southern Wisconsin. Movement on these showers is drifting off to the south and east, so they are moving pretty quickly. Any one spot is not going to get a lot of rain with these showers, maybe just a few sprinkles. Not a whole lot happening as well off to the north and west. You can see a little cluster of rain south of Minneapolis has all but fallen apart right now. The rest of the forecast for today is looking dry. Let's take a closer look at our temperatures early this morning. We're starting the day with 60s in many locations. 63 in Janesville, up to 67 in Monroe, 61 here in Madison. Watertown a little cooler though right now with 56 degrees. Dew points today are going to be pretty comfortable. Here's your dew point trend as we go through the next 12 hours. Dew points will hover in the upper 50s, so not likely to notice too many impacts from the humidity today. Your future track forecast model shows you partly sunny skies this morning, a northwesterly wind, but a nice warm up today. Winds will stay light. Temperatures will be in the mid 70s by lunchtime. We're heading to highs right around 80 degrees this afternoon. This forecast model trying to generate a few showers later today. If we do see any of those, they're not likely to hit the ground, so our forecast stays dry. Here's a look at your extended outlook. Speaking of dry weather, it's going to stay dry through most of this week. Very comfortable as well. Relatively low humidity with highs right around 80 degrees. Again, our chance for rain returning Friday into Saturday, and then we drop highs into the upper 70s next week.
Lots of just 80-degree temperatures on that map, staying steady.
Yeah, hard to complain about that.
All right, Hattie, thank you. 6:36 right now, and we have some breaking news from overnight. More than 170,000 Americans have now died from the coronavirus. According to Johns Hopkins, we passed that grim milestone overnight. Wisconsin makes up more than 1,000 of those cases. It comes as the state sees its highest percentage of positive cases in more than 2 weeks at 11.2%. 8,700 of the state's 65,000 cases are still active.
New data shows the United States is far behind other rich countries in its coronavirus response. The virus has killed Americans at 6 times the average rate of other developed countries, and we're recording roughly 8 times more infections. You can see what that looks like when it's broken down in this graphic from Axios. The online news site compared the U.S. to 82 other countries and territories with high-income economies. In July, they had collectively recorded the same number of cases as the U.S., but cases in our country have skyrocketed since then.
6:37, let's take a look at your first warn traffic on a Monday morning. If you're heading out across town, no crashes or major delays to speak of. Seeing some slowdowns on Park Street as you approach downtown. Also East Washington looking a little slow. Beltline so far so good this morning. If you're hopping on from the interstate, looks like you're moving at posted speeds. A few brake lights near Stoughton Road, but nothing out of the normal. That's your first warn traffic.
Coming up this morning in the next 5 minutes, we're going to be sitting down with UW Health's Dr. Jeff Pothoff. He's here to answer your questions about back to school and the coronavirus. Stick around, you don't want to miss that interview. It's up next on News 3 Now this morning.
Welcome to the all-new Dwellings.
For 45 years, Affordable Dentures and Implants has created affordable access to dental care.
And we're proud to have helped millions of people improve their smiles.
Our number one priority is always being the health and the well-being of our patients and staff.
So, we're taking extra precautions to welcome you to a safe and clean environment.
Because we want you to go
ahead and smile.
Affordable Dentures and Implants. We can't wait to see you.
Getting your air ducts thoroughly cleaned takes the trained professionals at Stanley Steamer using the most powerful equipment to get the most powerful results. Our equipment goes deep inside your ducts, removing years of dirt, pet hair, allergens, even dust mites. Unlike other air duct cleaning companies, Stanley Steamer cleans your entire system. Just look at how much dirt can be removed. Call today for a free inspection and save $50 on a cleaning.
Stanley Steamer gets your home cleaner.
Covet Cars grand opening sale, beautiful Middleton. 2017 Nissan Sentras, Hyundai Elantras for only $79.95 or $129 per month.
That's right. Buy 2017 Nissan Sentras and Hyundai Elantras for only $79.95 or $129 per month.
Covet Cars is selling 2018 Kia Fortes for only $89.95 or $149 per month.
Hurry in today and just ask for my dad, Don the Dealman Govin.
Or my daughter, Crystal the Pistol Govin.
You gotta go to Govin, GovinCars.com.
I love to equal the playing field. I love to help people and allow them to feel like they are powerful instead of powerless. We're with our clients every step of the way.
Gingras, Thompson, and Walks.
Welcome to the Del Bar. One visit and you'll fall in love. A supper club you'll adore. We are now open, so take a drive. We would love to have you come and dine with us. The Del Bar, since 1943, Wisconsin Dells.
Dwellings, Madison's best kept $150 secret. Now open in Fitchburg.
Accurate news as it happens, right here where you live. Information that you can use from the team you can trust. For more local stories that impact your life, News 3 Now.
Madison Magazine is recognizing amazing nurses for their courage and commitment during the COVID-19 pandemic. Go to madisonmagazine.com and nominate a nurse for going above and beyond the call of duty. Deadline for submissions is August 17.
Welcome back at 6:41. Our back-to-school coverage continues this morning as the American Academy of Pediatrics is out with new guidance about your kids wearing face coverings in schools. The group says right now is the time to start preparing your kids for wearing masks all day if they're going back for in-person classes. A pediatrician says practicing at home and wearing masks in front of your kids is a good way to model to your children the importance of wearing them. Make sure they're not touching the front of the mask at any point, and when they do take it off, use the earpieces.
New data this morning shows just how vulnerable our kids could be to COVID-19. A new report from the CDC shows kids make up about 7% of all cases in the U.S. In Wisconsin, the latest DHS data shows just under 9,000 confirmed cases have been children. It's about 13% of the state's total 65,000 cases. Of those, about 3% have been hospitalized. Black and Latino children are disproportionately affected. We've been reporting about this. Data from the CDC shows Hispanic children are 8 times as likely as white kids to be hospitalized by the virus. Black children are 5 times as likely. The American Federation of Teachers says it considers in-person schooling to only be safe when fewer than 5% of tests in an area are positive. Wisconsin reported an 11.2% positivity rate yesterday over a 24-hour period. There has been an upward 2-week trend.
The long-term impacts of coronavirus are still widely unknown this morning. We do know many adults who've had the virus suffer from symptoms for weeks after testing negative, but now we're learning kids are having some of these same experiences. Fatigue, breathlessness, chest pains, diarrhea, and scabby COVID toes are just some of the longer-term symptoms your kid could be dealing with. While COVID-19 symptoms are generally milder for kids, the virus is still a risk to your kids' health.
Lots of you have questions when it comes to COVID-19 and your kids going back to school.
We're continuing our conversation with Dr. Jeff Potoff at UW Health this morning to get you some of those answers. Hello again, Dr. Potoff. Thanks again for joining us.
Good morning, you guys.
Let's get right into it. We're going to start off with Chelsea's question. Is it safe to open schools?
Yeah, I think, when we look at schools, we have to look at each individual district to determine if it's safe. And, there's a few things that you want to keep in mind. And one is the district or the schools actually set up to facilitate social distancing. If they can perform social distancing reliably nearly all of the time, that's a good sign. You want to look at masking requirements. Certainly, robust masking policies are very important. Sanitation policies, how are they going to do distancing at pickup, drop-off, And then particularly if your school's going to have it, lunch and recess can be tricky times. So you have to look at that. Anytime we have higher community transmission, we increase, risk for schools opening. But on the flip side, there's also risk for kids not having in-person education. So it's really that balance between those two things.
So our viewer Carrie wants to know, at what point should a school go 100% virtual? Is there a threshold of cases that school districts should pay attention to?
Yeah, there's not a particular probably number that you would pick, but I think what is likely to happen is if you have schools that start to see spread of COVID-19 in the school during the school day, whether it's teachers or students, you'd have them take a break to try to figure out who all got exposed, who needs to be tested, who needs to be quarantined. If that rate of positive cases kind of exceeded the ability to quickly do that contact tracing, I think you'd see schools close and go virtual, at least for a period of time.
All right, we'll get to our question from Jenny now. Since most people recover, shouldn't each family make their own decision?
Yeah, I think this is a little bit dangerous logic. So although most people do recover, there is many people who don't recover. If you look at the U.S. and the international death toll, COVID-19 is a bad player. It is a bad disease, and you don't want it. The other thing that's really difficult about kind of making the decision for your family is that you're not really making the decision just for your family. You're likely to come in contact and expose other people too. So you're making that decision for more than just yourself. So I would say for as much as we know about COVID right now, it is dangerous. And there are patients who have lingering side effects that are lasting months after their initial infection. We don't even know how long that'll go on for. So I think the right approach would be, what can I do to minimize the chance that I get COVID-19 and that I spread COVID-19 to other people?
So Dr. Pothoff, you're a dad, you have young kids. How would you feel about sending your kids back to school right now?
Yeah, well, I can tell you what's actually going to happen. So we're in a school district where they're able to do hybrid learning for elementary education, and that's where my girls are at. And I feel pretty comfortable with it. They're going to be able to physically distance. There's going to be 12 kids in a classroom, one teacher, no moving around, no recess, no lunch. And like I mentioned, there is this tremendous benefit to in-person education that I'd love to give my kids. I feel like the school district we're in are taking those appropriate precautions. So we're willing to give it a try. And if things don't work out, we have the option of going virtual. But based on what I've heard and what the district has tried to do, I think it's in the best interest of my girls to try to go back to this hybrid learning environment.
Dr. Pothoff, we want to thank you for your time this morning, waking up early, answering all of our questions, because we certainly had a lot. We really appreciate it.
You bet. Anytime, guys.
Have a good one.
All right.